An English egg collector with 3 convictions in the UK for taking the eggs of some of the rarest species came out here to Bulgaria to live in 2004. Unfortunately, very soon he was up to his old tricks, taking eggs from the countryside and starting to home in on the rarest species in this country.
There was also the added bonus that there was little chance of the authorities, with no real knowledge of this strange crime, ever catching up with him. However, news of his exploits filtered back to the RSPB. Attempts through official channels to engage the Bulgarian authorities were unsuccessful, so the RSPB, working with the Bulgarian birdlife partner BSPB, was fortunate that a senior police officer took the matter seriously. In December 2011, a modern seafront apartment in Burgas, the home of Mr. Ross, was raided by the police. Only 16 birds' eggs were found in his apartment, though these included the egg of a griffon vulture, a species given extra protection in Bulgaria. Also found was a range of specialist egg collecting and climbing equipment, which had been used to access nests of cliff and tree nesting species. However, of most significance were his records and photographs detailing his exploits in the field and listing hundreds of eggs taken in Bulgaria. Mr. Ross is shown here visiting an eagle owl nest site. Amongst his prized eggs were a clutch of the globally endangered Egyptian vulture and 3 clutches of the rare imperial eagle. In Bulgaria, the imperial eagle already faces severe threats, including poisoning and the theft of chicks. This bird has been the subject of an EU life conservation project called Save the Raptors, run by BSPB. This has addressed many issues, from nest protection work to insulating pylons to reduce electrocution incidents. Satellite tags were also fitted to a number of chicks. This has provided an amazing insight into their movements around Northern Europe and down to Africa. The strange world of egg collecting was unknown in Bulgaria, and following the raid, the case attracted widespread media interest. Using his diaries and photographs, it was possible to start piecing together what Mr. Ross had been up to in Bulgaria. This came as something of a shock to BSPB.
When we first found out, we couldn't believe it. It was kind of shocking for us. When we ran through his diaries, it was unbelievable how effective this guy was at gathering eggs of all kind of rare species of birds, including imperial eagle, Egyptian vulture, griffon vulture, red-footed falcon, lesser spotted eagle, and many other species. So it was kind of shocking, and we just start slowly to realize that just one man can be something very negative for the population of one of the most rare birds in Bulgaria.
The beautiful Rhodope Mountains in southeast Bulgaria are the main stronghold for griffon and Egyptian vultures. The area has strong environmental protection, but these species remain vulnerable to human persecution, whether it be illegal poisoning or egg collecting.
Here is the main colony of the griffon vultures in Bulgaria, at these cliffs. The population slowly recovered after the 80s by artificial feeding, and now it's kind of stable and slightly increasing. And the Egyptian vulture, this is also a very important area for the Egyptian vulture. The core population is in here in eastern Rhodope. We have quite a big problem with the Egyptian. We have pretty steep decline for the last 25 years, so around 30 pairs remains in Bulgaria. Most of them are here in eastern Rhodope.
In 2010, an English egg collector came to these beautiful Rhodope mountains in southeast Bulgaria. He had only one thing on his mind. This was to find the nest of griffon vulture. Just on the cliff here below me, he found a nest with a chick. Once he found this, his intentions were set. He came back in February 2011 with his young son. He photographed the site from this spot. He then used a rope to climb down the cliffs behind me and take a precious egg from this nest site.
In northeast Bulgaria, near the town of Provadia, Ross targeted the Egyptian vulture and located a nest in cliffs high above the town. As a former tourist attraction, the site had an access bridge, but this had been closed and an iron mesh placed over the entrance to protect the vultures. This was to be no deterrent to Mr. Ross, who came to the site one evening with his young son.
I'm inside this amazing cave monastery carved out of the rock, high in the hills in eastern Bulgaria, above the town of Provadia. For several years, Egyptian vultures are nested in this area, and we see the remnants of a nest here. However, in May 2010, an English egg collector came to these cliffs one evening with his son. The entranceway is protected with an iron grill, but using a crowbar, he broke the welds to create a space. His son was able to wriggle inside, came through the caves here, took the precious eggs from the nest, and took them away for his father. This species is globally endangered. Massive population decline in the last 20 years. The same problem here in Bulgaria, where the population has fallen to only about 32 pairs. Since 2010, the birds are no longer bred at this site.